shoes, everything she says is true. If you don't know now, you know. All you ever gotta say is heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that. Look, all you ever gotta say.
What's up, Heard That Nation? Listening in the United States and around the world, you are now listening to the Heard That with Marisa Tigney podcast. If you happen to be watching right now on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you stay in the know of every new episode and every guest that I have on this show. And I am happy, beyond happy, to be sitting here talking to you all that are listening, Heard That Nation. It has been a minute. I will update you on some changes that happened with me and something that I did for the very first time that I'm excited about. The more opportunities of this that happened to me, more of them are coming through, the doors are opening, so it's going to be absolutely awesome. But I wanted to take this moment before I start talking about what I did for the first time is to say thank you, Heard That Nation. Thank you, every family member. Thank you, friends. I have not been on the microphone for a moment because I had a couple of bouts of laryngitis. And if you ever had laryngitis before, it is not a fun ordeal. I'm here in Texas, and so having no voice, and it's hot. It's ridiculously hot here in this state. The combination of it and some other things that happened. I had the laryngitis bout, couldn't do my show, couldn't do a couple of things I had the opportunity to do, and I had to be on vocal rest. And then I got to fly to Detroit recently to see, it actually fly into Detroit, but it was in Ohio. Got to see one of my nephews get married, which was a beautiful wedding, absolutely beautiful wedding. Shout out to Brian and to Hope. May they have a lifetime of happiness together. It was absolutely beautiful. And to be out there dancing with my family and having a good time and then flying back here. And pretty much it was all systems go. We landed here, had a few flight delays, got back home, got everything ready for the next day. And literally the next day I got up just to go to work. And it felt like someone took, a huge, you see them in gyms, the huge medicine ball. People are lifting them up, trying to, for muscle, for cardio, whatever they use them for. And it felt like somebody threw it at me and I was not prepared to catch it. And it landed on my chest. And that weight literally just sat on my chest. And I tried several times to go and it just didn't happen. And so I had this laryngitis. I had the health thing. I got someone in the studio with her phone going on right now, but it was a sign literally telling my tail to sit down. It was telling me to sit all the way down and not get up from anything, and that was hard for me. That was very hard for me because I'm a person that's on the go. I'm a person that's involved in several things that I'm doing. I got a career. I'm a wife, family, different things I got going on, gigs that I had lined up, and couldn't do none of those things because of literally my body was like, well, I guess if you're not going to listen to me, I'm just going to pull the rug out from you and I'm going to force you to sit down. And I'm so grateful for some tough reality of that, and my husband telling me, you know what, Marisa, you just need to sit down and allow yourself the grace and the space to say, you know what, I can't do it. I can't do it. I need to rest. I need to sit down and I need to be quiet. Literally shut up and lay down and sit down. And that was hard for me. That was a challenge for me because of the fact of anybody that knows me, I'm that person that's on the go. So laying there, recuperating from this laryngitis, not talking, hot tea being my best friend. Literally, that's pretty much what I, could only have was hot tea or, soup. And it taught me that at the age of 50, and I've had friends that have battled through worse things and friends that are no longer here, that are right around the same age bracket or younger, that your health comes first. And I want to say that to every single person that is listening right now, that your health comes first, and it's okay to say no to things. And at 50, I'm learning that to say no to things, and that other opportunities will come up. And allow yourself grace in the moments to sit down and relax and cancel, move things around, move meetings around, move guests around, and let them know it's okay that you're going through something and you have to put yourself first. And that was a hard space for me. I've had guests on my show that talked about health, that talked about mental health, and as much and many times as I have listened, I wanted that advice to go out to everybody that was listening and everybody that's connected with this show. And I was taking bits and pieces for myself until that moment happened with my health, which forced me to just sit down and be quiet. And so your girl is back. I thank everybody for lifting me up. I thank for the phone calls, the prayers, the text messages. People have sent me gifts, sent me flowers. It was really, really nice, really sweet. I didn't post a lot of that on my social media. I wanted to keep that internally and keep that to myself. And so I'm very grateful to say that because of all of that happened and it transpired, I was able to do something amazing in Detroit. I went back to Detroit. I was invited to do the Heard That podcast live. Never done. Always been here in studio, always been talking to you all, always had my guests connect to me virtually, but never did a live show where I was able to talk to people and get their perspectives on different things live. So this was really huge for me. So I'm like going, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know, I can't haul all of my studio with me. I'm just going to learn this and everything else. And you all have been there every step of the way, and the support has been absolutely amazing. So I got to go to Detroit. This was Club Quarantine Detroit, live from Detroit. And if you've been following Club Quarantine now for 3 years, almost 4, it's headlined by DJ D Nice, part of Hip Hop Legacy, hip hop being 50th. Its 50th anniversary is this year. And he headlines these amazing shows and has incredible artists, current artists, throwback artists, but their music never ever dies. And so he had this incredible lineup at the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater. But I got to do my podcast show at the Detroit Historical Museum. I got invited by an incredible person that works there by the name of Marion, and I thank her. She is Detroit Rhea on Instagram. Those that know her know that she loves her city, loves the city of Detroit, and talks about it so much in a positive light. And so I got asked by her to come and do my podcast there to talk to people about Club Quarantine and who they were excited to see, and those that were local people that live there in Detroit, why they were excited that D Nice had picked Detroit to have this incredible event. And it was absolutely amazing. The concert itself was absolutely amazing. I had Deborah Cox, CL Smooth, Donnell Jones, Lloyd, which he was so good, so good. And then hosted by Spice Adams, which I don't know why in the world I completely forgot. The man is from Detroit. I met his incredible mother at the event that I'm going to talk about shortly. And then hosted by the incredible Kenny Burns. If you're not following him on IG, you need to. This man is absolutely high energy, gets the crowd involved, gets the people involved. And it was just such an amazing time. And there were several other acts that were there as well. And so, but we had a meetup. It was a Club Quarantine meetup, and it was people that were coming in or they lived there in Detroit. And I got to be there at the Detroit Historical Museum, and it got to be in the space where it was about Ford and the company and its first assembly line. So I was surrounded by all different kinds of history there, talking about, Ford Field, not Ford Field, that's the Detroit Lions. I got sports on my brain, y'all. Football coming up. But it was the Ford assembly line. And it was just so awesome to be there and to connect with other people that were near me. My table and my booth was all set up with near vendors that were all there. And the cool thing, several cool things that happened. Number one, my father was there. My father traveled from Lansing to come to Detroit to support his daughter and doing her first live show. So shout out to my dad and my incredible talented niece, Anna, and my sister-in-law, Denise, made these outstanding cookies. I gave them an idea. They ran with it. I spread them out on my table. They did water bottles with my logo. They did music notes. They did some club quarantine cookies. It was absolutely incredible. Like, it was just like an emotional moment for me because all of this was my first time. And so I had my stand and, I talked to the audience a little bit, had them, I introduced my dad. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't want the people to come to me. I'm going to go to the people. I'm that person that's like a mover. I like to go around and, and collect stories and talk to people, see how they're feeling. So it was just me and a little mini microphone and my phone. Got to go around to the area. Went into one area where there was the DJ playing. I mean, shout out to DJ Steve Russ, Detroit native, absolutely incredible. Got to tone set for the evening. There was people that were coming in the door, greeting one another, and just collected stories. It was stories about people that traveled from Indiana, from Texas, from Virginia, local people there in Detroit. One that traveled from California. Shout out to Hip Hop Elise. She was absolutely amazing. We're going to connect. I'm going to have her on a future episode of this show. And to hear what Club Quarantine means to them, the music, the community, the people, it was absolutely amazing just capturing all of that and to take the audience along for that journey of, hearing the stories and hearing, who they've met and who they connected with and what Club Quarantine has meant to them in their personal journeys, how it saved their lives. And so, hearing all of that while also capturing the essence of the city of Detroit and the history of it. It's not just about sports teams. It's not just about, the Ford Motor Company. There was some history that was also involved in that. And I got to go to another level of the museum and had an amazing tour and captured the essence of Detroit, the city, the uprising that happened in 1967. We got to, I took the audience on a journey on all of that. And all of that is on my Instagram page. And I'm going to come out with a short video of all of that summary of my first time doing that. But just to know that I was surrounded by so much, and I'm going, how in the world did I live in this state and grew up in this state and grew up in Lansing? Lansing and Detroit are like about an hour or so away. And, didn't know about this museum, didn't know about, the histories. And so it was great to take the Heard That Nation audience and the Club Quarantine audience with me and to, learn together of what Detroit was and what Detroit is and currently thriving. Media sometimes depicts the city as, vacant buildings and low income and job loss and everything, but it doesn't show the gems and the beauty of the city that I got to discover more of. I mean, I also got to see the spirit of Detroit monuments for the first time. I've always seen it on TV, but never got to see it up close and got pictures with it, which is absolutely awesome. The Fist, Joe Louis, who was the famous boxer that fought in Detroit. I never got to see that monument until I got to see that up close. So shout out to my friend Lainey, who took us around the city after the event was over and just got to capture some of the beauty at night of Detroit, Michigan. And I got to tell you, the takeaways from this, before I end the show, the takeaways from this was several things. One, people are proud of their city. And I got to speak to several people about Detroit and what they love about Detroit and why they still live in that city, despite hearing so much that, so much negative about that city, but how much they love and appreciate and the memories of it. So that was really amazing. And then two, just the creative people that were behind the scenes to make all of this happen and to invite your girl to be part of this. There's just so many of them that had put this beautiful weekend together for people that were flying in, for people that were going to the venue and going to to other events that were happening that were planned for those that were going to be there. It was absolutely incredible. I got to tell you one moment though that was just awesome to me. So I'm going around, I'm filming, I'm talking to people. I go, we learn about Detroit and the history of the city. I go back downstairs, and literally it is jumping. Like everybody is dancing, have a good time. DJ Steve Russ has got to move the vibe set, and I'm dancing. I get in, everybody's, doing the hustle, the two-step. I'm doing the best I could. But I was just so amped. The energy was just electric. And so I had this lady dancing next to me, and she was complimenting my nails because purple's part of the logo of the Heard That podcast. And and I looked at her and like, oh, your tracksuit is beautiful. The suit she got on, because she was wearing purple as well. And I'm dancing next to her, and she's just like going, pretty much we got the same vibe. We love purple, so dancing, have a good time. Music stops, and Steve puts on a couple of Motown songs, and one that comes on, everybody's like, oh, okay, we know this one. This is a classic jam. And then turns around and introduces the person that sung the song, and it's Martha Reeves. Your girl is dancing next to Martha Reeves. The whole time we're like, chatting up in her there. She's just out there dancing. Not a clue. Shame on me. Shame 100% on me that I did not recognize Martha Reeves. And when I tell you, he played a little mini Martha Reeves in a Vandella set, and she danced to every single song. And I got that on my Instagram page and my stories. And that was such an incredible moment right there, to be dancing with and then witnessing Motown history, the music of so many artists, her, Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, the Temptations. I mean, there's so many people that their career started there, from the one and only legend, Berry Gordy. And to be right there to witness that, my late grandmother, who had talked about her favorite artists in Motown, and Martha Reeves was one of her favorites, and to have that moment where I got a photo with her. I love her feistiness. I love that. She reminds me of my late grandmother as well. And so she had told me that I didn't look into the light right when it came to the camera and picture time. And I was just like, I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm next to you. And I'm taking this moment in, because you don't get opportunities like that where you're near a living legend, and let alone get a picture with one, because she did a very few pictures. I, respected her time very much so. But, she, in her 80s, still got it. We're having such an amazing time. And so if you ever get an opportunity to, go and see musical artists, the ones that I had mentioned, the ones that are currently touring, hip hop, like I said, is at its 50th anniversary. That same energy with your girl who just turned 50. Shout out to everybody in 1973, all the 1973 babies. If you get an opportunity to see legends like her, or anybody else that's out there traveling, check them out, make an appointment to do so, because they're not going to be around for very much longer. And to have her dance right there, all of us, and we just literally lost our minds. To have her just be right there was absolutely incredible. In town too, there was so much going on in town. There was SummerSlam happening at the Fox Theater. There was Smokey Robinson having his concert. So just so much when I was taking into the city, the beauty, the history of Detroit. I'm just proud to be a part of it through my father, who was from there, and through the people that I met. And so I wanted to thank the city of Detroit. I want to thank Detroit Rhea and Cole Green and Brian Young and everybody that was on that committee that welcomed me in. The swag bags were absolutely incredible. They had my favorites: Better Made chips, Verner's. Literally, I put a post on my wall that said that Verner's literally cures all diseases, because when I had stomach aches growing up or headaches or whatnot, mom gave me Verner's. And I don't know what magic is in that to this day, but something about Verner's and Fago that's just absolutely Michigan magic. And so thank you to the beautiful city of Detroit. What up, though? That's how I'm going to end the show. I thank every one of y'all for tuning in, and I appreciate every single person, again, that checked on me, and we'll be back to health. And I appreciate the prayers, and I appreciate the thoughts, and I appreciate everything. I appreciate you all. I'm not going to cry on the show. I appreciate you all. And as I always end the show, take care, stay safe. I'm out of here.